821, Big 550, KTRS. Everyone knows and everyone talks
For
about.
Caddyshack, Ghostbusters, and Groundhog Day.
We're in the middle of a heroin addiction, not only here in St. Louis, but across the country, is a sad reality. Alan James is with us. Alan James, you are with the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. Thank you for joining us here on KTRS.
Thanks, McGraw.
We were talking off the air. You were once a resident of Salvation Army.
I was.
What was your story?
I had a meltdown, and I had been an alcoholic for years.
Okay.
Had a time of sobriety, had a meltdown, ended up completely homeless, nowhere to turn. Had a background in pastoral studies.
Right.
But went to the Salvation Army because that was my only place left to go.
So you were homeless?
I was, completely.
How long?
A short stint. I figured out real quickly I was not cut out for that sort of lifestyle.
Right.
Went into the Salvation Army, and they helped me turn my life back around.
And you've been sober how long?
Going on 8 years.
8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're a counselor at Salvation Army.
Yep, I'm the director of Rehabilitation Services.
It's a great story. All right, let's talk about this heroin addiction, because Salvation Army is known for alcohol treatment or alcohol facilities, but you're starting to see more and more heroin addicts come through the doors?
More and more. Alcohol is still number one. About 50% of our guys struggle with problems with alcohol. But of the other 50%, about a third of them now have a heroin addiction.
Is there a typical heroin addict in 2014?
No, there's not. It does the gambit. Most people believe it's still to be an inner city problem. It's not. More and more we're seeing guys come in from the suburbs, younger and younger guys. When I came through the program, it was unusual to see a guy that was 18 years old come into the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Now we see it on a regular basis.
18 years old, addicted to heroin.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, there was a story in the New York Times not too long ago that said that prescription pain pills and heroin is a gateway drug now. People are just starting with heroin. Are you seeing that?
More and more. The prescription drugs are definitely the inlet. One of the big things in Missouri, people don't know, we're 7th in the nation in mortality rate for drug overdoses, which is probably a low reported number because we don't take into account of the homeless.
Right.
The majority of those are from prescription medications and heroin. They start out on the prescription medications because they're not easy to get, but
they're easier to get.
Easier to get because mom and dad's medicine cabinet is the.
Oh, and
the
also
doorway.
Doctors are tripping over themselves to give people opium-based pain medication.
Correct.
You have a bad back. Instead of the doctor saying lose weight and exercise, he says, here, take these pain.
We forgot
It's
one.
now the third most
Harold
prescribed
Ramis for Caddyshack.
And mostly younger kids start on over-the-counter or prescription pain medications. Very quickly, they can't afford the habit.
Yeah.
It escalates to $400 a day.
We forgot one. Harold Ramis for Caddyshack,
how much meth
Ghostbusters,
do you
and
say?
Groundhog Day.
Lower and lower.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, meth is lower and lower, but heroin is more and more increasing.
Why is the meth? Why are you saying less meth? Is that because it's more of a rural drug, or?
More rural, but also because there has been a large crackdown on meth.
Right.
Legislation put in place, accountability of the products that they make the methamphetamines with.
Right.
So we are seeing less and less.
Interesting. One of the biggest things, Alan James, about the Salvation Army or any rehab facility or anybody going into rehab is the minute they open up the doors and they let you out. Seems to me like that's the most dangerous time of all.
It is, and we stress it to our guys over and over and over again. It's one of the things that makes us different. We're a 6-month up to 1 year residential program. So the guys that do graduate our program and do walk out the doors, they have 6 months to 1 year of hopefully real recovery under their belt before they have to walk out there and face the real world. But we stress that to them all the time. We're a high level of accountability. Any rehab facility or treatment facility is, when you walk out those doors, your accountability goes from a high level to almost zero sometimes.
Right. Because you feel like you've kicked the habit. You feel clean, you feel good, and you feel like you can control the drug. Oh, I can have a little bit. I haven't had any in 6 months. I can handle it now.
Absolutely. And we stress to the guys over and over again, there's a huge difference between real recovery and simply being abstinent.
Yeah.
We don't teach abstinence. We teach them the life tools and a holistic method so to address all the problems of their life so they don't have to rely on drugs and alcohol.
It's also Christian-based, correct?
It is.
Talk about that for a moment.
We're one of the, there's other programs out there, one of the few programs that are completely Christian-based. We don't receive any outside funds. We don't receive any federal funds, state funds, United Way funds, no insurance dollars. We're simply supported by the sale of donated goods in our thrift stores and also our car donation program. And that allows us to put in place Christian principles that other treatment facilities can't.
You don't care how they pray or who they pray to. You just care that they pray, right? Is that a safe to say? Some Christian-based philosophy, I guess, more or less?
It is to some degree. I mean, we believe Jesus Christ is the way to true salvation and to true recovery.
Right.
But we discriminate in no way. We have Muslims that come through our program. We have people of all faiths that come through our program, and we don't discriminate in any way, shape, or form where they're at. We want to meet them where they're at and bring them to where they need to be.
Yeah. How does it work? It's an overnight facility. How does it work? How do you get in? Give us some of those details.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are a residential facility. It's no-cost services. We don't take insurance money. If a guy has no outside income in any way, shape, or form, there's no cost to him whatsoever. If you know someone that has a need or you have a need yourself, it's simply a phone call away. If you call 535-0057, simply ask for our intake counselor. He'll start the process from there.
How do you pay your bills if it doesn't cost anything?
We, as I said before, strictly through the sale of donated items in our thrift stores and our car donation program. That's almost not quite, but almost 100% of our funding.
And so the car donation program is they donate a car to you. You sell the car. I get a $500 tax credit.
Minimum of $500. It's a great way because I know we traded our last car and we got less than $500 for it.
Right.
If we would have gave it to the Salvation Army, we would have got at least a $500 tax credit for it.
Right. How many beds do you have?
104.
And are you sold out? Do you have a waiting list, or what's the number there?
Right now, we're pretty full. We don't have a waiting list right now, but it's shortly approaching that.
Right.
Our waiting list doesn't stay real long most of the time. Being a 104-bed facility, we have quite a bit of room.
Right.
We generally average between around 90 guys in our facility.
How do you combat somebody who just wants to stay warm for a couple of days as opposed to wanting real recovery?
We're real serious about it. We're not a shelter. There are other shelters out there.
Right.
We're looking for the guy who is serious about his recovery, and most of those guys, they don't stay around very long because of the facility we are. We're a very structured facility. There's rules in place. Guys have to do work therapy.
Right.
It's not I'm just going to sit around all day and go to classes. Every guy in the facility has a job to do. He does it 40 hours a week to help out and to support the center and to keep our costs down.
Right. It's how you've been there eight or nine years. Give us a sense, Alan James of the Salvation Army, how bad the heroin epidemic is in this region.
It's huge, and it's only getting worse. I mean, as I said before, Missouri is 7th in mortality rate. That number is largely underreported because it doesn't take into account the homeless population. I see it every day. I talk to other professionals in the field, and they see it just as badly.
And you're seeing teenage kids.
Teenage kids, 18, 19, on a regular basis.
Who aren't addicted to cocaine or marijuana, or they're starting with heroin.
Absolutely. They've gone from having a productive life. We talk to family members, moms. It breaks your heart because their kid just 3 years ago, was a productive guy. He
was on the baseball team, on the football team, class president, you name it. They're doing right.
Best kid you could ever have, and now he's addicted to heroin. He's stealing their life savings. He's stealing things out of the house simply to try to support his addiction.
Alan James with us with the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center there on Forest Park in the Central West End. Alan, more information. How can people find out more information?
Absolutely. They can call 314-535-0057. They can visit our website at www.satruck.org, or they can call, if they would like to choose to donate, 1-800-SA-TRUCK. They can also follow us on Facebook. Simply search St. Louis Adult Rehabilitation Center.
Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. Alan James. Do you ever want to drink?
Do I ever want to drink?
Yeah.
Not when I look at the consequences.
Yeah, good for you. Congratulations, and thanks for giving back, and thanks for your story. Appreciate it. Alan James with us, Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center, 830, Big 550, KTR.